Here in Australia this summer, we are getting absolutely smashed by bushfires. In New South Wales, where I live, the fires are that extensive that the area being burnt is larger than some countries in the world. They are massive. Areas that I go four-wheel driving, most of them are completely off limits and out of bounds at the moment. They've been burnt out. In this video, I want to share some of my thoughts and my perspectives on these bushfires. Here at Mad Matt 4 Drive, I'm all about educating and building the four-wheel drive community so we can wheel well. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you can get the notifications. The whole reason I started the Mad Matt 4 Drive channel was I wanted to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. And I was seeing a lot of people getting out there in the bush, and to be honest, they didn't have enough experience or knowledge to do it very well. So they were wrecking trails, they were wrecking their four-wheel drives, and generally I don't think they were having that good a time. So I wanted to help them do that. And today I think we make a real difference and we're helping be part of the solution. So we're achieving our goals. In this current time though, I think that there's something going on that's really totally un-Australian. And that is, in our time of need, we're seeing a whole heap of backstabbing, backbiting, people using this environment and this scenario to push their own political agenda. They're using this situation to attack our Prime Minister. Whether you like him or not, I cannot believe that he's not given it his darndest to make a real difference and do his job to the best of his abilities. Now, if you think you could do better, well, there's a democratic process. You get in there and you make a difference. Otherwise, how about you support the bloke and support the other Aussies who are out there in this time of need? And let's leave the political bandwagon for later, not now. Now is not the time. Now is the time to be Australian, to look after your mates, to support your mates, to put aside your differences and help one another. Let's do that. Let's be part of the solution and stop being part of the problem or being the problem in and of itself. Now, in saying all of that, those of you who are out there with the RFS and fighting the fires, those of you who are driving bulldozers because you own one, those of you who have been hurt and damaged and suffered loss through this situation, those who have lost loved ones in this situation, I am not talking to you and I'm not having a go at you. I am 110% behind you and I wish you all the very best, and I want to do my little bit to try and help you guys as best I can. So I've got some solutions that I'm going to get to. But first up, there's a couple of things that I think are problems. One of them is access into our bush. This concept that we can close it off and it'll be just fine is really foolish. This is the result. I think if we allow fire trails to be open and allow people to get into the bush, we're also going to allow those who manage the bush to get in and do a controlled fire burn. And that is going to be far better than this, where these trees are going to be firewood very, very shortly. We've got areas nearby which burnt a number of years ago, and all of that area that looked like this is now firewood. It's coming back, and in 20, 30 years, this will be Australian bush again and the wildlife will be back. But how many species, how many animals have lost their lives because of this? Animals can't run fast enough to get out of the way of a fire that came through here. It's sad. It's not cool. Now I'm getting a fly buzzing around me at the moment, so that's a good sign. And there's some midges in the air, and we heard some birds earlier. So there are pockets within this space that will seed the environment back into this area. So that's a great thing. But the environment shouldn't go through this. This is not good. So let's open the gates. Let's get rid of the gates. Let's allow people to get into the bush. Now, I'm not suggesting for a moment that I know the answers. I don't. But I do love the bush and I get out there more than many people do. And I think that whether you be a horse rider, shooter, a prospector, a bushwalker, a four-wheel driver, or any other number of activities, we should all be allowed to get out there in the bush, because that's part of the management of our forests and our environments. Now, one of the ideas that I've had, and I don't know if this has got any legs, but I wonder if guys like myself, who once upon a time were a member of a volunteer bushfire brigade, and I've had the training and I got up to deputy rank, but today I couldn't commit the time to being a volunteer bushfire brigade. I just don't have that time available to me. But I do have some knowledge and some experience. So could it be that once a year I did a refresher course and I was like a reserve volunteer bush firefighter? So that in times of crisis like this, they can call on me and give me a McLeod tool, or say, Matt, we want you to drive 4-wheel drives in and drop crews off at their trucks and so on, or just help out, just be hands and feet and grunt work. I don't need to do the fancy stuff, but I can help. Why couldn't we have a system like that in place so that all of those of us who, want to help, can help? Now I'm wondering, how can we, as a 4-wheel drive community, help these communities that are being decimated by these bushfires? And I've got an idea that maybe it'll make a little bit of a difference. And it came from some friends of mine just the other day when this area I'm filming this in got burnt out. As soon as the area opened up, they took a drive up into the area and they bought morning tea at the cafe, and they, just spent some money at some of the cafes and the shops in the area. And that helps the community because it keeps the jobs going, it keeps the store open and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm wondering about running a trip down to a region that maybe there's a couple of towns that have really been impacted by these fire events. And basically whoever wants to come can come. We're not going to go 4-wheel driving. We're just going to have a great weekend. We're going to camp maybe in the showground. Maybe we'll go and have dinner at the pub. We'll go to Woolies and do our weekly grocery shopping during the weekend, or go to the local IGA because that's a family supported thing. We'll buy a tank of fuel in town and we'll just go with the intention of trying to spend some legitimate money out of our family budgets in those communities so that we're helping the jobs and we're helping that community just get back on their feet. So I'm pondering that idea, but you know what? I reckon you guys have probably got far better ideas than what I do. So I'd like you to comment down below. And what can you do in your community? Would you come on a trip if I was to put one on? And what can we do? How can we be part of the solution rather than being part of the problem? Let's stop being part of the problem. Let's stop being armchair warriors using this situation to push our own political agendas. Let's be Aussies. Hey True Blue. Geez, I feel like singing John Williamson's song right there, but I'll spare you from that because I ain't got me guitar. All right, guys, I'm Mad Matt. Stay safe on the trails.